So hi, Timothy. I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. So lovely to speak to you. How are you doing?
Hello, Sarah. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So I'd love to hear a bit more about this film, The Last Bus. Maybe you could give us a brief introduction to the film and tell us a bit about why you wanted to play this character of Tom Harper.
Have you seen the film?
I have.
Right. Well, the film is about Tom, an old man, and a 90-year-old man who finds himself on an odyssey. He finds himself going from John O'Groats, which is the most northern part of the British Isles, back to Land's End, the most southern part of the northern British Isles, with a suitcase with his wife's ashes in it, using his free bus on umpteen different buses on a trip down memory lane to deliver his wife's ashes back to where they're from. And it's revealed in this story of a tragedy that caused them to flee that place in the first place. And it opens up an odyssey where he is reintroduced in a way back, although he's dying himself, back to how Britain's changed, in a sense, how good and bad. But on the whole, I think he finds it a surprising journey, which he wasn't in any way anticipating happening to it. But in the long run, pretty good, I think. And although he's accepted the fact that he hasn't got along, this breathes new life into him in a way. It gets him through. He has many scrapes. The vicissitudes of this journey are, quite stark, good and bad. But it keeps going. He keeps going. He's kind of, in a sense, indestructible to the point where he isn't anymore. And he knows he's got this thing he has to do.
And what was it about this character that appealed to you? And what was the preparation like? Because of course you're playing someone, there's an age span, at some point playing the character when he's more around 60 and then other times when he's 90. And there seems like there's a great physicality in your performance. So what was it like in terms of preparation and how did you see the character you had to play?
Well, I think, I knew that, he's ill and he's 90. There are different, some people are more sprightly than others. No, I've always tried to approach a character from a physical point of view anyway. I've always felt that, that someone speaks the way they do, walks the way they do, and, generally are the way they are physically. And it's often, it makes them what they are. And sometimes it explains their spirit and their soul, or sometimes it's opposite to it, or a mixture of it, or surprising. But I mean, age and the fragility of someone's life, particularly when they're ill. Being an actor, I think all my life, I'm always looking at people. I find, even if I'm not working on something, I'm always wondering about why someone is doing something, why they walk like that, what is it, what has caused that, why has that person lost the battle, ultimately lost the battle with gravity, what vulnerabilities that produces, what that, for instance, I remember watching an old lady when I was quite young and really getting it, looking at a curb on a road, thinking, what's she doing? Why is she stopped on the road there? And I realized that curb, which looked to me like a quarter of an inch, to her was like the eyebrow. I realized it's relative, how you feel about the world when you go amongst it. I'm knocking on, you're young. You go out there, whether you're feeling vulnerable or not, you don't feel that if you fall over, that might be it. When you're 90, if you fall over, that could be the end of your life. And I think, it does dictate to you a lot how you see the world. This guy is ancient, vulnerable, but he's kind of fearless because so many things that have happened to him. He's kind of, lots of him is dead anyway. It's just that he's brought back to life through this odyssey. and the discovery, a surprising discovery of what, you know, he achieves it as well. He desperately got to lay the ghosts of this baby, this thing in his life, this thing that's been the elephant in the room in their life, it's spoiled it. The only thing that's really made their life, you know, they've got on with it, they've had a good lives, but they've always been underpinned by this deep sadness.
And amongst lots of other things, it's a road movie of sorts. And
it is, yes, without a car chase, not even a car chase in it.
The locations seem integral to the film, both from, you know, beautiful landscapes to sort of gritty, you know, not so nice locations that he finds himself in, and, you know, also kind of like bringing in the period aspect to the film. So, you know, what was the filming of it like for you, having to be in all these different locations in all different conditions, I imagine?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was chilly. It was in the winter we were shooting it. There was always a bus to get on to. So there was plenty of them. I think it worked out about 16 in the end, you know. So there was plenty of buses, and as you see in the film, one of the buses had to share a lot of sheep, you know. So yes, a lot of, but you know, sometimes that's the way it is. I did a film not so long ago called The Journey, which is mostly in a car, you know, so at least we were able to change buses on this. In that one we weren't able to, you know. So yeah, no, you know, it is, road movies are nice, I mean, because you do get to see different places, you know. And I paint as well, so I was able to, you know, get a lot of material, you know.
What was it like working with, you know, not just Phyllis Logan and the director, but also this incredible, you know, wide-ranging cast? You know, I think a lot of them from Glasgow themselves, and, you know, a really kind of broad spectrum of people and characters that you had to interact with throughout the film. So
yeah, lovely. I mean, and they were really good. Managed to assemble a really excellent, you know, it's a low budget movie, so he got some very good people to come in and play. But I said to them, each one who came on, I said, you know, I said, all these parts to me are as important as the others, as important as mine, you know. I talked to them and say, look, this is so much about, you know, this film as a sum of its parts, about this tapestry of people that he comes across, and with there's not one character in this that isn't, in a sense, rounded, hasn't got, that's the beauty of the writing, right? I think good writing, even when someone's got one line, you know, there's thought in it. They come with a history, a background. You know, some people only got 3 or 4 lines, but they've got character, and that's what is great about this script. And it's always the mark of good writing. It's the same mark in a good book. You know, if you read a great novel, the character is introduced. They're never just functionaries. They always come with, if they're human, there's something about that human. And I think this script introduces you to this vast tapestry of people who are either, you know, predisposed to be pleasant or unpleasant, or given other circumstances might have been pleasant if they lives were different, and so on and so forth. You know, there's no, you know, even the, you know, the character in this, the girl who's struggling with drugs, there's something else about her that isn't just, not just an excuse. It's not an exploitation character, you know. There's something about all these characters, the richness in them, you know, which he, you know, given that he is accepting the fact that he's on his way out, that these people that he encounters, good and bad, breathe some kind of new life. They feed him on his journey, you know. And sometimes are great acts of kindness, you know, with a couple who take him in and look after him. They end up having a little sing with him and dance, you know, and they're just going to feed him. They nourish him, you know. And then he gets knocked down by somebody, and then he gets picked up by. So it's kind of, you know, it's a skittle, really.
And what do you hope that people take away from the film? Because I guess in some respects it's about his personal journey and his acceptance of loss, but like you were mentioning in the beginning, it's also a cross section of modern day Britain, and you know how we can't sort of survive on our own. We do need other people, and perhaps that's a nice message kind of in this pandemic world we're in right now.
I think you just answered it. Yeah, you answered your own question. I think that is it. I mean, I also think, you know, the age-old people, as much as we romantic about them, tend to be invisible, you know. Or you go, oh no, oh God, blimey, oh come on, hurry up. You know, if you're in a queue, why are you, why are you taking so long with your change? You know, oh for goodness sake, you know, I'm trying to get out, get back out of the way, you know. And then, oh, look sweet, but really, I mean, it's kind of. So this is it's an investigation of someone who is, you know, decrepit, going through a big adventure. And I think you know, and also, you know, being surprised himself. And I think it is a, you know, it is a story, a road movie and an odyssey, but and it's also a wonderful story about that terrible American word, but it kind of says it, closure, to find closure on something in a life that someone's had together of love, but it's been tainted by a tragedy. I mean, it's not until, as far as I'm concerned, he's got to get back to that grave. Okay, he wants to get back to give them ashes, to give her back to Cornwall, as it were. But it's, in a sense, for both of them, he's got to get back to that grave to speak to that baby, you know, that baby, and say, you know, because they've never gone there. In the nearly 65 years, they've had to live with this sorrow. And that sounds incredibly morbid, but it isn't. I mean, there's a beauty in that. And there's the tapestry, the snapshot tapestry of Great Britain that he's kind of not been a part of, brings him forward, good and bad. So I think it is, you know, very gentle, very heartfelt story about somebody finding peace, and also somebody finding peace via the strength of a modern world. Although, you know, given we're in the information age, you get bombarded by negativity. This is a very positive tale about the vicissitudes of modern life as well.
And just quickly, very finally, how does it feel to have your paintings in an exhibition, the ones you did in the pandemic?
Well, it's fantastic, yeah, and the exhibition closed on Saturday, and they're all they're all accounted for. They all belong to somebody else now. So you know, I'm flabbergasted, humbled, and delighted, but I'll never see him again.
All right, well, it's been wonderful to speak to you, and thanks so much for taking the time.
You enjoy Alicante.
I will do. Thanks a lot, Timothy. Nice.
Bye-bye.